Tonight,
Conference will now be recorded.
calling the meeting to order. Shall we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. With roll call, everyone is here tonight. Thanks for attending in person. The next thing we're going on to is our public hearing. What I want to let everybody know that this public hearing is here, or we're holding it, to consider the change to City Ordinance 30.01, regular meetings. Right at this point, the Monaga City Council will be holding a public hearing to consider changing the day and or time of regular council meetings. The hearing will be held at Monaga City Hall, located at 115 on Tuesday, February 9th at 6 p.m. All right. So, the ordinance that is right in effect at this point is ordinance number 2021-001, wherein it states that the regular meetings of the council shall be held on the second Tuesday of each month at 6 p.m. And at this point, what this public hearing is for is to change that to the second Monday of each month, all at the same 6 p.m. So, I will open the hearing now.
You have the resolution there in your action memorandums. We have it all written out for you.
Right. Oh, do you want me to read it all? I mean, if
Well,
that's the only change, or you think I should?
Yeah,
I have it here? Yeah.
Yep, you're ready.
Do you want me to read the rest of it, even though that's the only change we're making tonight? Is that what you like, Kurt?
Yeah, I guess we need the City of Monaga, Minnesota ordains language.
Oh, okay. Okay, so this is an ordinance of Monaga City Council amending Monaga Municipal Code, Chapter 30, City Council. The City of Monaga, Minnesota ordains. Changing 30.01 meetings, regular meetings of the council shall be held on the second Monday of each month at 6 p.m. Any regular meeting falling upon a holiday shall be held on the next following business day at the same time and place. All meetings, including special meetings, shall be held in City Hall unless the council decides otherwise at a prior meeting or meeting in City Hall is impossible. Section 5, effective date, ordinance number 2021-001 shall take effect upon publication in the Monaga Review Messenger, the official newspaper of the City of Monaga, after approval from the Monaga City Council. So I will open the public hearing portion of the meeting. Has anybody signed in?
Not for the public hearing.
Not for the public hearing? Okay, well, at this point then, I will close the public hearing, and now there are no written comments either, Kurt? Sorry, I have no written comments. Okay, so I'll close the public hearing, which is at 6:04, and we'll now go into the regular meeting. Is there any discussion on the change here with council members? No discussion?
As far as the time and date?
Changing, yeah, right, changing it back to the second.
Jay, we could make that at 7? This came up before, and one of the things that came out of it was there's a lot of people get off at 5:30, 5 o'clock, somewhere in that area. They take some half hour to get home or so, get a bite to eat, change their clothes, and get to the meeting. It's 6:30. If they get off any later than that, they don't make it. If we want to accommodate our public, maybe we better make it at 7, being that we have the special meetings or work sessions, as you call them, to take off the workload of the meeting. Maybe we could make it at 7. 3 hours ought to be enough, huh?
The only thing is that the public hearing was published as of Monday at 6 p.m. So we would have to we would have to actually send in another notice for 2 weeks, which to the newspaper, in order to change it.
So is that a bad thing, to accommodate the public?
Well, I don't know. Has anybody had a problem here with getting to the meetings at 6?
nobody here, but these are the people that could make it here.
Well-
I was talking about one that we tried to get the meeting changed before, you weren't part of the council back then.
No. Well, has anybody else here in the board see any point in,
I would tend to maybe agree that you want to accommodate the public. 6 o'clock is kind of early. And I never even gave that any thought when I read through this, that, a lot of people do work until 5:30.
so do we want to put this off then again for another month? Probably, because you have to publish it, and it'll be some more expense to the city to publish it for 2 weeks. I don't know what the cost was before. But I guess we do
Well,
have to...
that's my opinion, I'm only 1 of 5.
Right.
I'm just saying,
I
I would tend to
understand.
agree with Art, there are times when people would like to be present or part of the meeting. And even for people that, I'm working every day and Dan works every day, and I'm sure there's other people that have commitments, but sometimes you have to accommodate the schedule that's in place too, so.
Well, we're going to have to vote on this either way. The vote has to be taken. So, any other discussion? Robin, Dan?
Well, I guess 6 o'clock would work perfect for me, but I mean, we'll see what happens, but 7 o'clock is a good idea, don't get me wrong, but 6 o'clock works for me, 'cause sometimes I leave at 2 in the morning, 2:30 in the morning. I'd like to be home a little earlier, but,
But start time doesn't always accommodate end time either, and we can only go till, or we can go till 10 o'clock at night. if
Well, no, I mean,
so-
like I said, I'm not,
Yeah.
opposed to it.
Well, any more discussion? Otherwise, I'll call a vote on changing the ordinance. Regular meetings of the council shall be held on the second Monday of each month at 6 p.m. It's on ordinance number 2021-001. All those in favor, say aye.
At 6 or at 7?
We're still at
It'd have
6.
to be
We'd
at
have
6 unless we change it.
We have to go for another, we got to publish, we'd have to publish it again for 2 weeks and then bring it back again. If
So
we're
you
going to change
arguing
it
that
to
that's
7.
not fitting to do for the public? I mean, that's our constituents that can't make it.
Well, I don't know, has anybody else heard any comments?
We've
I
already been
guess?
through that.
Well, I mean, the thing of it is, we still have to vote on this, and we can't change it because a public hearing
Well, let's vote.
that was published said. Okay, well, I did ask for a vote, please.
At
All those
7.
in favor, say
No,
say
I
aye.
think it has
This
to
is
be-
for the
So
6
it's
o'clock.
still for
one.
6 o'clock one, yes.
It has to be for 6 o'clock, that's what was published, Art. That's what we're speaking to tonight on the public hearing.
All right.
All right, so all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign.
No.
Well, it's a 4-1, motion passed. All righty, next we'll go to approval of minutes, but I realize we have the public forum and correspondence. And who do we have on that for tonight?
Sheriff Mike Carr.
All righty, you're up.
Good evening, everyone. I apologize, my voice kind of went out on me today, and I'm just here tonight for clarification on some information that was shared to me by Chief Gunderson. He requested this last Friday assistance for law enforcement response over and above what we normally do for agency assist. I typed this out so I don't miss any of my notes, but Chief Gunderson advised that he could not have any overtime on his payroll based on some actions the council had taken last week in their meeting. Typically, law enforcement responded to calls on our matters of public safety that are deemed necessary emergency services. I'm looking for clarification from the city council and the mayor tonight. This obviously has an impact on my office as well, and also would like to discuss with my county board if it's something that we have to change in our budgetary items as well. Like I said, I think, again, law enforcement responding to emergency calls are always a necessary service to the people and lives that are affected based on the call time responses and life or death type situations. So that's what I'm here tonight to just discuss it. This is something that will continue, or if there will be a clarification tonight in your meeting on your moratorium that you guys put in place at last week's meeting.
Thursday.
Last Thursday.
My question to you, Kurt, is that since this is public forum and correspondence, do we need, and I guess this is one thing I didn't see on here, is any amendments to this agenda I asked to have put on here. So my question is, after he's given his public or his information to the council, my understanding then that would have to be addressed then later on, is that correct? But we don't have it on the agenda.
Correct. You could amend the agenda to discuss the terminology on the motion from last Thursday. And then direct me to issue some clarification to the sheriff.
So,
When you say, did you say change the terminology or understand the terminology?
Clarification on
Okay.
it, yep. Because we've
Yeah,
had some of that discussion.
I shared an email with both you and Adam.
Yep.
I think your interpretation was completely wrong.
and I also called and talked to Chief Gunderson and to you, Kurt, and explained exactly what the moratorium was on, that there is no way that we would ever have our residents be under any type of, or that if there was an emergency, that our police would not respond, nor would our people with the the water and sewer. That, what it was unnecessary. It did not say unnecessary purchases and payroll overtime, or it did say no payroll overtime. It said any unnecessary purchases and payroll overtime.
So why, when Robin asked for clarification, you get all snotty at her?
I didn't get snotty at
Yeah,
her.
you did. Yeah,
No
you did, you
way.
got snotty at her. Adam, you told me he
Okay,
was part of
Art,
the, you told him he was part of the public, and he's our sergeant of arms.
He is part of the public, Art. And Art, I am not going to start any discussion here at the table. What we're doing is clarifying what this motion was. Anybody else have any discussion?
I'll just add to that too, Liz. I did share an email with both Kurt and Adam. I do have a cousin who has a master's and a PhD in English literature, and I asked him, read this motion and how do you interpret it? And basically what he said, it does identify the unnecessary, that stays intact. It doesn't address the necessary. So if you interpreted that the necessary is part of that motion, you're totally incorrect.
So I think it stands. It didn't say no necessary.
Right.
You know.
I will share that. If you want to look at it.
Alrighty, anything else?
Do you need any further?
So, and my clarification is, so then it'll stay status quo with how
Yeah.
the Monaga Police Department has
Yeah,
always
so
had it in place.
it's still as it is.
Right, because it says
All right.
unnecessary.
Yep.
Emergency calls are necessary. And I know there was a little bit of discussion I had too with Kurt and with Adam that, maybe people who are on call for a Saturday and a Sunday, maybe they could adjust their schedule. If they got called out at noon instead of going in at 3 or 4, then leave. I mean, there's all different possibilities that could be done.
That comes into labor issues, I think, with labor union.
You as the chief, though, don't you set the schedules?
Yep.
So when you say it's going to be a labor...
But if I do anything to change the schedule, I believe there's a stipulation in their labor contract that I have to give them X amount of notice in order for me to change their schedule.
So as it stands right now, we have 120 hours of on service, or we have officers on duty, right? On a 7-day week, so you got 168 hours, so there's a window, there's 48 hours where there's actually nobody on duty, per se, in a patrol car, but are they on call?
Yes,
Do they get on-call pay at all, or how does that work?
they get on-call pay, and then if they're called out, they get overtime.
Okay.
It's per the contract.
So based on the discussion we're having right now, so that would be, we'd go back to status quo, and that, the email that I got from, that you shared with everybody on the council, then we would be back on status quo, so sheriff, car, I mean, can you take that back to is the county commissioners concerned about it, or are you going to take it back?
So what I would have is I just have a concern of whether we're going to be on call, like I say, we're, in the absence of a police department, we're always going to respond. We're responding to assist you guys in any shape or any form. I mean, when we have emergency calls, we're coming here to assist the city of Monaga Police Department. My clarification, you guys have answered it tonight, was that as long as it stays status quo, if nothing's changing, so we understand that in an emergency situation, that officer will be called out to respond to that call, which that is the clarification, and I appreciate that.
Yes,
Thank you
for
for that. So that's what I needed to know on our end, and I think.
And on my end as well, so that, if I talked to the union about it, that's,
Yeah.
we're not changing, we're not saying there's no overtime for them, but I needed clarification on that as well, because I had the union talking to us about it too.
Well, I think that also blends into the essential services like snow plowing, and if a water main breaks or if there's a pump that goes out, I mean, that's essential services. We have to provide that for the citizens of Monaga, and as well as public safety. I mean, like Adam
Yep.
and the other two patrolmen that, I don't know if they altered who's on call or whatever, but I don't think that was ever the intent. And if it was the intent, or if you I shouldn't say you misread it, but if you understood it as such,
Well, and
that
it's,
wasn't the intent.
and it's not just us, like I said, there's a labor union involved as well, and so when they read it, that's how they read it. So that's just where we need
Did
the
they
clarification.
send that to their union leadership at all to interpret that? Or was it just done at the local level?
The business agent.
And he interpreted that as such?
But I guess if I may,
Sure. Go ahead, Kurt.
in terms of law enforcement, if we have a call out, that's necessary overtime. And I discussed with Ron, Public Works as well, that we have to do our job. And so even over this weekend, if we had had a snow event or, a sewer main break or whatever, they would have been going out. So
We all agree.
Yep, we do.
That
Yeah.
was what the
That's all
intent
agreement
was.
there, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
There's a meeting of the minds.
Okay,
Thank
well,
you,
good.
Mayor.
Well,
That
thank you.
just gives us clarification.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening.
Mike or Jen?
Thanks, Mike.
Might need that.
Well, I guess we already had the discussion. I'm going to ask, though, is there any other amendments to the agenda? I think we probably should really approve it. I realize, I'm sorry, I came down a little bit further. Pardon me?
Well, we had, you let me know, and it doesn't look like we got it changed prior to the meeting, that we had a presentation under unfinished business that former Mayor Labat had requested to address the group, and you and I decided it would go under the public forum. So I guess that's an amendment
Is
not to
she-
the agenda, and I see that she is here.
Oh, okay. All righty.
There's one item I'd like to maybe have as part of the agenda, and that would just be to have a discussion. We did hire a new staff person to help out with the Banyan to help the conversion from Banyan to Assist, and I'd just like to get some discussion or feedback from the city administrator, how that's going to fit into where we're going.
Where should we add that?
I left the placeholders for the department head reports, I guess we could put it there, on the city administrator.
Okay, yeah, I see that was another thing. I wasn't sure why they all were on here, since we were going to have that as a part of the work sessions.
Yeah, we should
But you
talk
didn't
about
change.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of wasted space if we don't have those reports, but it's in the handbook, the bylaws, so we left it in there as placeholders.
Oh, okay. Well, so we're going to put that discussion then,
Under city administrator.
under city administrator. So that, Berwin, what did you call that?
Just to have a discussion about the status of the staff hire that was brought on to help with the conversion from Banyan to Assist.
Okay. Alrighty, any other amendments? Otherwise, will Joni, if she's available, on the economic, it was sort of some economic development item? Did you say she's here?
Yep. Kind of got the cursor next to her here.
Okay, Joni, you're on. Hello?
I'll just take a couple minutes of your time tonight. I wanted to let you know that we're still meeting as an economic development group. We're just a small group, but still pursuing options for improving business
Yeah, that's
success.
not unfinished business, but it should go back to
Can you hear us, Joni?
the public forum.
Yeah, I can
And
hear
he was
you.
going to change that before tonight, but it didn't get changed.
Is there anyone else that can speak this evening?
I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Joni,
Yes, I'm
can you
here.
hear us?
I can hear you.
She's muted.
I'm not muted at home. Hello, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Hello?
Well, I think while he's working on it, we're going to go down to approval of minutes. There were 3 different meetings that went on. No one has received the minutes, so we can't approve anything tonight. So then we'll go down to the consent agenda. Accept Liz Olson's resignation from the Planning Commission. I did have a letter, Kurt, that I did give in December at the Planning Commission, but you didn't have that copy, or I know it wasn't attached.
I didn't put it in here, no.
But it's mainly because of my
Planning
change in
Commission
status.
already, yeah.
Right. So, let's see here, is there a, did we have a motion here? So not applicable on the minutes, I apologize. Motion to accept Liz Olson's resignation from the Planning Commission.
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
I'll second.
Alrighty, moved by Karen, seconded by Warrenbolt. Any more discussion? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next on the agenda is the work session, accept Pam Johnson's resignation as Assistant Manager of Northbound Spirits.
I'll make that motion.
Alrighty, Humphrey, is there a second? Hubner, alrighty, any more discussion? Again, I know we wished her well and thanked her for 38 plus years, wow. Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Alrighty, we'll go on to appoint Jeremiah Erickson to the Planning Commission vacancy.
So motion.
Hubner,
I'll second.
second Humphrey. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. All right, approve the officers for Monaga Fire Department for 2021.
So motion.
Do we want to name them? If they're in our agenda here?
They are in your packet, yeah.
Just a moment here, I need to go through here.
There it is.
Pardon me, yeah. Okay, Chief will remain Dave Kicker, Assistant Chief Jim Day, Assistant Chief Terry Burtonen, Captain Randy Burtonen, Captain Eli Jetman, Secretary Aaron Hillica, and Treasurer Robert Weaver. So, Art, you made the motion
Yes.
to accept. Is there a second?
Second.
Dan Warmbold. Any more discussion? Otherwise, all those in favor? All right, next we're going down to, let's see here. All right, acknowledgement of receipt of board commission minutes. You're up, Laura. Good evening.
today was 50 today. Had some discharges, not really much for admissions. So, I discussed the December financial report, and our census for January had been up, one of the highest we had seen in the last year. Is 82.73%. As far as the financials, we did have a small profit for December, which is good because we had been seeing a loss for a couple months when we had our COVID outbreak and more wages, less census, so it's good to see that we had a small profit for December. Alrighty. They're still doing the visiting. We're still doing the visiting, and we had our second vaccination for the residents of the nursing home. The assisted living will receive their second vaccination this Thursday. And staff has had the opportunity to have 2 vaccinations as well. Inform the board that I showed the star ratings for that we had for the facility, CMS 5-star rating. We have some open positions. It's actually been really difficult to hire. I don't even know if you have some suggestions for that. We're posting on Indeed, Facebook, our website, Jobs HQ. I don't know if you have any other suggestions of places we can post, but we're just not getting,
How about your senior centers
Senior center?
around different towns and all that?
They could by word of mouth, I suppose,
Well, usually they got a
a
board.
board.
Yeah.
I've had good luck with ZipRecruiter in the past.
ZipRecruiter?
Because they actually kind of call out and look for those criteria and then invite the applicants to apply.
Yeah, because we're hiring for a housekeeping laundry position. We've had applications for that. CNAs and nurses are not, we're not getting applications. We did actually put flyers out to the local colleges, that the classes that are coming to an end, and hopefully we'll receive some applicants that way, but it's just been really difficult. We did hire 3 during the COVID time, but it was a very difficult time to start. One of them started right in the middle of our outbreak, and yeah, it was hard, but challenging, so.
Got a quick question for you, Laura. Based on what you're telling us, the pay schedule, is your hourly wage competitive with the competition like the Wadena Hospital, the Park Rapids Hospital, other nursing homes, or do you know where you sit as far as what you're paying for?
Yeah.
Is that one of the issues, or is that not an issue?
I don't think so. As far as our wages they're higher than the local than Park Rapids Nursing Home. I know that they've struggled with employees, finding employees as well. As far as the hospital, I know we recently had a nurse that went to the Detroit Lakes Hospital, and I said, can I ask what you're going to be starting at? And we're within $1 an hour. And that is if we were starting, and we would be higher if we were starting like as a unit manager, so more acute, care required or acute nursing required. But if we were just for like a cart nurse, we are almost we're within $1 of what they're starting at the hospital. So I think we're really competitive there. We typically haven't really advertised our wages too much, like we don't put that in, but we're actually going to start to say this is what we're paying to start, because we would have, we need to, because I don't know if they realize that we are competitive with hospitals, so.
Yeah,
They might think that we're not. We're definitely higher than clinics, and we're not, and we're competitive with the hospital, like I said. So I don't think that's an issue, but we just have to get that out there probably. We actually just discussed that today and looked at it, so. when we were talking about not getting applications, I'm like, okay, where are we at exactly on this fund?
But do you think a lot of it too could be because of COVID?
It is,
That a lot of people have left or haven't stayed in the,
we had 3
nursing.
nurses that started in the last year, and they didn't stay. It's just challenging.
right?
The face shields that we have to wear,
All the
everything.
PPE, yeah.
It's just, it's, and then just, we had one that started in the middle of our outbreak. Well, I mean, just started, and when you're
Brand new.
positive, you know, like, it's like, so,
Yeah.
just challenging, so, but I'll try ZipRecruiter. Thank you, Kurt.
All right. Well, I want to make the comment that everybody is aware about your 5-star rating, provider rating for January 2021. I think that's something to really be admired. You know, doing a great job, Laura.
Thanks.
And I think you were, I think you were also talking, you were to maybe go out for insurance.
So what it is it's actually, we have had the same insurance agent. I don't even really know exactly how many years. The last 4 years that I've been the administrator, we've had the same agent for both our liability, property liability, and our health insurance. And we are going to be changing the agent on record for both the employee health insurance and the liability and property insurance. And I actually did just send the email today, and I had a call, and, you know, of course, of course, wanting to keep us, and I just said I would like to, you know, in the past, at the timing of trying to get a new agent at the time as you're going out for quotes isn't ideal, because you can't, it's really hard to make a change because you have to put the stop on all they can't give you an actual quote because you have to say it. You can't quote me on West Bend. You can't quote on SFM. So, because the other insurance agency has it. So, we're going to make the switch before our renewal is. There's a lot of things with COVID because our current carrier will not cover. So there's got to be some changes there and some things that need to happen ahead of time. So, we're just making that change. I know he wasn't real happy necessarily, but I just said I think I'm going to go ahead, we're going to give it a chance. If it doesn't work in a year, I hope you don't mind that we come back and you know, it doesn't work, you'll see us back. And if it works, I said the reason for was the support that we received from this other agency in the past year, and he was apologetic about it, you know, but we're just going to change. So I did send that today.
All right, anything else, or anybody have any questions for Laura? Otherwise, thank you very much, and I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes. Is that kind of what we do, the minutes? Which was the February 2nd, 2021 minutes, board minutes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay. Any more discussion? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Do we have Joni up?
You should be able to hear her now.
Okay. We'll move back then to our public forum and correspondence. Joni, you're up.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I can hear you before, but you couldn't hear me. All right, I'll just take a few minutes of your time this evening. We have a small group, and we are still pursuing options for improving business success and adding to a positive business climate in Monaga. And we have discussed the idea of revisiting Flat Earth. I don't know if everybody's familiar with that, but we were able to find him all over the world for quite some time. And it's an inexpensive way to share the travel adventures of locals as well as now out-of-towners with ties to Monaga. To implement that, we have discussed an insert in the Review Messenger, perhaps on the same page as coupons for the Monaga's business. We talked about doing a promotion that would reward customers who travel to as many businesses as possible and turn in their results for a prize. Perhaps as a raffle with the number of entries commensurate with the number of businesses visited. And we would like to know if we have the backing of the council, it will take some funds to accomplish anything. We had asked for $154 in December to do a coupon insert in the review messenger, but we're told to wait for the new council to hear our plea. As of now, at the state level, the year 2021 has been put on a freeze as far as getting any grants or anything. So it's more important than ever for us to get some help from the council. The previous council had approved up to $4,000 for economic development, and we haven't spent any of that. We understand that the city's looking hard at their financial picture right now. At this point, we only want to know if we have the backing of the council and if we need funds to help promote Monaga on a case-by-case basis. And if the council's not interested in promoting local businesses, we would like to know now before we put more time and effort into moving forward. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Joni.
Joni, I have one question for you. You mentioned there was $4,000 approved by the prior board for economic development. And none of that money's been spent yet, is that correct?
Right, that was in last year's budget. It wasn't budgeted for 2021. I don't remember what we did for 2021, but for local economic development, we had set aside $4,000, but we didn't spend any.
So when that motion was made and approved, was that designed to do promotional stuff for the city businesses?
Right, yeah, it was to help. I don't remember if it was during COVID or pre-COVID. I really don't remember, but it was just to kind of help with advertising and promoting the local business, kind of as the CNC has done similar things, except this would be more personalized to each business versus the businesses as a whole.
My question, excuse me, are we going to put this on the agenda to take some action, or should we put this towards our work session, special meeting, and
I think
discuss it a little bit
if Tony
further?
and I could get together and put a little more concrete information around what she might be proposing, or have as a list of potential projects, then I can bring that to the work session.
Well, that's what I'm wondering if we should do at this point, and to see where is the money's coming from. Are they coming from the city's economic development fund, or where? So yeah, why don't we do that? We'll put that to the...
Joni, will you send me a note tomorrow and we'll pick a time? I think the work session's on the 23rd, so we can plan to get together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can do that. I really would like a consensus to know if the council's interested in promoting anything. I mean, I'm not asking for money. I'm just asking if there's an interest in backing us if we have something, or if we should just, we put quite a bit of time into this already, and does the council feel that an economic development group that's a group of local people, just, the Monaga area people, are you interested in promoting us if we come up with something that is deemed recognizable?
Well, first of all, aren't we supposed to have some sort of an economic development board, Kurt?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I realize that needs to get, we need to get something going on that, get people to be a part of it, and maybe these people could be,
Either committee.
yeah, part of the committee or the committee, or, you know what I mean? And then also our work session is February 22nd, 2021, Monday, the 22nd.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, just so that she knows.
Okay.
Okay, well, sounds good.
All right, thank you.
All right, well, now we're down to, let's see here. Streets and utilities reconstruction project. Brian Hiles, is that how I pronounce your name?
Yep, Hiles, yep.
Alrighty, you're presenting, I guess, the information tonight for us?
Yes.
Alrighty.
Yep. So I've been working with Kurt and Ron over the last, how long has it been, Kurt? About a year and a half, I suppose. We started initially putting together a capital improvement plan for the city. That was brought forth last year, approved by the previous council, and that is a 5-year kind of look ahead as far as what is out there for possible public works type projects. So with that document, then that kind of sets the goals, sets the needs for the city for the next 5 years. And then based on that, then we look at what projects make the most sense to move forward with as far as trying to get funding for those projects. I don't think any of you have been involved with a project with the city. The last one we did would have been the water plant project in 2016. I think we finished that one. 2015, 2016, we did the funding and did the project. That project was funded through the Drinking Water Revolving Fund with the Public Facility Authority in Minnesota. They provide low-interest loans and grant dollars to pay for water projects. There's also a Clean Water Revolving Fund, which kind of does the same thing on the wastewater side. And then there's a water infrastructure fund that they use to provide grants to support both of those programs. So that's one funding mechanism that we can use for projects. The second one is
Just a quick question related to that. On that granting process, have you guys been very successful in securing grants for your other clients?
Yes, we have. Yes.
Have you batted 1,000 or?
Well, when we did the water plant project, it was for the city, it was a 30% loan, 70% grant on that project. That being said, all the funding agencies use a specific formula to determine the city's eligibility for sewer and water, or for grant dollars versus loan dollars. Okay, they call that an affordability rate. It kind of, how it works is a little bit different with PFA and rural development, but they're basically the same thing. So what the affordability rate is a certain percentage of the city's median household income. Okay, so that median household income is determined on a yearly basis. They use the last 5-year average of that median household income. So it's not necessarily, if you have a big jump one year, it's not going to affect you. But that median household income goes up over the years. So they take a percentage of that, whether it be 1.2%, 1.4%, 1.5%, it depends on the fund. Each one uses a different percentage. And you multiply that by the median household income. And you get a yearly dollar amount that each household should be able to afford for sewer or for water for the city, or, to pay for their water bills, and then you back that down to a monthly amount. Okay?
So, Mr. Mayor, you don't have to go into a deep dive in this.
No,
I just wanted to, I think I got everything you were trying to say.
But you need to understand that, because that's going to kind of that comes into play when we start talking about funding for the water tower project or a street project. So what goes into determining that affordability rate, or what the city's paying, is your operation and maintenance costs. That's one of the things you're paying out of that affordability rate. any existing debt service that you have. So any, loans that you have out for projects goes into that. And then any new debt service goes into that. So you take all those numbers and you calculate it out, and then anything that's above that affordability rate is what would be eligible for grants. Anything below that is, you're gonna get a low interest loan for it. Nice thing right now, it's 1% interest. It's really, it's really cheap money. Okay?
Okay, so my question to you is now, so you're going to kind of just do an overview of what is in place or has kind of been approved by the state? Is that kind of what you're here tonight? Or we have to approve the scope of services, your compensation, your...
Yep, so we've given the city two different scope of services. One is for the water tower project that we're looking at, or the city's looking at. The other is for a larger sewer, water, street, storm sewer reconstruction project kind of in the southwest corner of town down by the lake. Okay, so the water tower project, that project's been kicked around the city for at least 10 years, as far as it may be longer, to replace the water tower. It has never fallen into the affordability range for funding before. This year it is eligible. So that's why we're looking at moving that forward. So you would be eligible to apply for grant or loan dollars for a water tower replacement.
And is that the only project at this point? The other project on the street and utility reconstruction has not been approved to that point?
No, and the reason for that is we're in preliminary, that is a really preliminary project. In order to get that to about the same point that the water plant is, we have to create what's called a facility plan. And that has to go to the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency for their approval of the project. And there's steps involved with that. We have to really go through the whole project. We have to have a public hearing for it. So in order to get that project to about where we have the water tower project is what you have the proposal in front of you tonight. So that would get that facility plan prepared and get the city on the funding list for that other project. About this time next year is when those are due.
So speaking of the water tower then, when you say we finally got elevated to a point where we're going to be recognized, was that part of the bonding bill that was just passed by the legislature, or where'd that money come from?
It's part federal funds and part state funds. So it comes down from the state, or the federal EPA, and then the state has to do a 25% match of the funds that they get from the federal. And that's the part that was approved in the bonding bill in October.
So what's threaded in with that bonding?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a revolving fund, so anything you pay back, anything that gets paid back goes back into the fund and get reused.
Okay.
But there's also new money that comes in, usually yearly, from the federal that the state has to match.
Well, at this point, we're all trying to figure out where we are financially, I guess, as to, although my understanding is even if we go ahead with this, that we still do not have to approve it in the ultimate end when we find out whatever funding or grants we get, is that correct?
Yes. So the way the steps work is so at the point we're at with the water tower project is the city's been listed high enough on the state list to basically go into the application process. And part of the application process is also doing plans and specifications, which are the drawings and the documents that design the tower and everything else. So as you move through the different stages, you're only on the hook for whatever has been accrued to that point. So when you approve the work order that we have for you tonight, that gets us through the application process, working with Kurt to get that all done, and we'll do plans and specifications that'll come back to the council for approval to go out for bid.
So what is the total dollar amount on that? Is that 101,925?
That would be for the whole project. That includes inspection services that would be incurred after the
Approval?
after the project's bid, and you guys would sign a contract with a contractor.
So at this point,
So at this point, it'd be just that first,
the
whatever the first.
15,000
Yes.
lump sum?
Yep.
So here,
Okay. So Kurt, where would
Yes.
we find that
Yep.
$15,000?
Well, Brian, just to clarify, that's the street and utility reconstruction?
Oh,
The
yeah.
lump sum is
He had the water one there, it's
And water.
60,
61 for a quarter.
yeah.
So we're talking about the water tower, correct?
Yes.
So it's how much?
$61,425.
Okay. So Kurt, where did you say that those funds would come from?
From the water fund, 601. And I got a note from the auditor today that said that out of that fund, there's just north of $240,000 that are restricted. I can actually just read it. And we currently have just north of $440,000 in that, in our water fund. So I'll just read it. Hey Kurt, glad to hear the council voted to retain our services. Attached is the engagement letter, which I'll get you guys first session. But I believe the city can access funds available in the water fund. Though it qualifies, I'm not aware of how it would impact at all the city's bond rating or if there are restrictions related to ratings agencies. I suggest reviewing our recent correspondence and bond debt agreements, and I've reached out to Ehlers, who's our bonding agent. Just over $240,000 of long-term debt in the water fund at the end of 2019. And the 601 fund has just north of $440,000.
Is that used to pay the bonds?
Yeah, that's for funding water. Oh, well, you mean the stuff that's
For
that's
future,
restricted?
this is
For
all
long-term
future?
debt, yeah. Yep.
Okay, well,
The other thing to note too is that any monies that you incur, like the design monies that you would incur before you got your loan or grant from the PFA can be paid back with PFA funds. So if you don't want to use your own funds and have them just gone, you can pay them back with proceeds from the loan, if that's a concern. I mean, that is an ability that you have, is anything that you occur ahead of time can be reimbursed back to yourself.
okay.
Yeah, one quick question related to that 40,500 that's sitting there. I mean, you've got that built in as a construction phase, so that dollar value wouldn't be an issue until the project was actually initiated and started?
Which amount?
40,500, stuff out on the front page here.
Yeah, that would be an hourly billing once we got to construction.
So
That-
if we engage you and sign a contract, we're only on the hook for
Yes.
$61,425.
So I guess the first thing on the new business here was streets and utilities reconstruction project. I'm sorry, we kind of
Oh.
moved ahead to the tower. But my question to you is, so what you're requesting is $15,000 to start the process, is that correct?
Yes, and that would start that process, and then get us through the facility plan portion of that project, so that you would be able to apply for funding at that point.
Okay, so Kurt, can that 15,000 come out of that water and sewer, or no, this is street
Well, this
now?
is, yeah, this is a little different.
Street, so is there
animal,
any,
We do have some money in the sewer fund as well, about $400,000.
But we're looking at
I don't have a
street.
number right. Well, this would be, there are
Partially?
sewer aspects
Yeah,
of this
there
project,
is.
so, yeah.
so,
So, and how that works is so all those streets on there are just rural sections, so there's no curb and gutter, there's very little storm sewer. So when we replace sewer and water and we use funding for that, you can pay for street repairs for what you disturb with the sewer and water. But you can only put back what's already there. So if you wanted to add curb and gutter, or you wanted to widen the streets, you wanted to add things, then that would be city cost above and beyond what you're gonna get from the funding
this project
agencies.
right here?
Yeah,
Okay.
but you're gonna get some street
Okay,
reconstruction costs as part of
but they
the
have
sewer and
to,
water,
right,
but you're gonna have some that's gonna be beyond that to, make that whole area a nicer area.
So the scope of that project on that Lake Street, it will start right at 87, we'll loop right around the lake and go towards the beach, is that what you're talking about?
Yes, yep, it starts at 87, goes down that short stretch, comes all the way along past the dock, the fishing pier, all the way over to the parking lot.
Of the beach?
By the beach. We're replacing the beach lift station. There's some work on the north side of 87 that there's like 5 blocks or something over there that hasn't been replaced to date.
and that's
So
also
that would
part
be
of
part
this
of
project?
that. And then I believe there's a little bit, like right out here, of sewer that hasn't been replaced. So basically, with this project, you would be pretty much done with all of the replacement, except for the highway stuff. And you're not gonna undertake that until the state does something with the highway.
Or the US, I suppose, 71, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so going back to this, is there any more discussion on
I
the
got one
street?
more question.
Oh, go ahead, sure.
You were talking about city sewer and water, is there anything related to the storm drain system where that inlet goes into Spirit Lake?
We'd be looking at that as part of that whole, so the
Project.
facility plan would be that just related to the sanitary sewer, but we'd incorporate it into a big preliminary engineering report that would deal with everything down there.
Is there any way you can redirect that storm sewer so it's not dumping into Spirit Lake?
It probably would still go there, but there are ways to clean it up before it goes there. Take floatables out of it, take sand out of it, things like that. We just are doing a big reconstruction project in Walker, right along the lake there, and we put in about 6 they're basically manholes that have separators, and they slow the water down, they take the sand out, they collect the floatables there before it gets discharged to the lake.
So more filtering.
Yeah,
No, so
Yeah.
my question was, there's no way you can redirect that so it doesn't dump into Spirit Lake, that was my question.
I don't think there is. I mean, there's not really another good place to take it. I mean, we can look at it, but you gotta do something with, it's gotta go somewhere.
Okay, well, any other questions? I'm going back to the street and utility reconstruction. Again, so Kurt, you say that we could take 15,000, or we don't know where the 15,000 will be
Well, I think
taken
for the
from?
preliminary, we can take that out of the sewer fund, because it's a sewer project, right?
Yep.
Yep. And then the other, as we go forward, we may have to buy some non-reserved, non-sewer funds. But-
Or try to set aside maybe some dollars for the future?
Well, we'll have a little bit of time. Now, this is just a preliminary, right, Brian?
Yeah, we'll have,
And we can
I
save
mean,
up.
we'll have a year to get basically the facility plan done, but then we're not gonna know the actual funding until September of that year yet for the sewer and water. So basically, we have about a year and a half here to really figure out what we want to do down there as far as, if there's improvements to the streets, making the parking better, improving the lake frontage, things like that, adding street lighting, whatever. We have time to do those things, and that's why it's nice to be able to start it now so that we're not trying to rush all those things.
Okay.
Would you be,
Go ahead.
would you be doing the same lighting as what's out here on 6th and 71? I think that might be an LED. I don't know, what kind of light did they put there, do you know?
They're gonna be replacing most of the streetlights in town with LEDs.
That does a
Yeah.
real good job of lighting up the ditch, doesn't do anything for the intersection.
Yeah, it'd be, we do a design on all the lighting. So whether it's street lighting or if there's a trail along there and we're doing like decorative trail lighting. I don't know if you're familiar with like Red Bridge Park in Park Rapids. Just more decorative style lighting along the frontage. The city will be involved with all those decisions. We're not just gonna pick what goes in there. And the nice thing is it's not a state highway, it's not a county highway, they're not gonna tell you what to put in there, but.
So we get to choose the lighting when it comes around.
Yep. It'll be LED, because that's just the best, most efficient right now, but what it looks like, that'll be up to the city.
Okay, any more
Yep, I got
questions?
one more question. Okay, related to these engagement letters, and it looks like it's kind of a contract here. When all this design and data is put together, does the city of Monaga own that data? Who owns the data? If we're paying for it, do we own it?
Yes.
So we can do whatever we want with it once we get it? You'll go on record saying that?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm ready. Any more questions? Art, did you have any more to add, or? Rodney?
What about the positioning of that lighting? I'm a little concerned about that, because that light that they put up there on 6th and 71, there's absolutely nothing there. You can't even see the intersection.
That'll all be addressed during the design. I mean, we're a ways away from that point right now.
But what I'm saying is, can they move it if they have to, or, I mean, if they have to use the LED and it doesn't do their job, then what?
That'd be a question for an electrical engineer, I
Is
think,
that
more than
Minnesota
myself.
Power? Is that who comes into play?
With that one,
Yes.
Is it?
yeah, Minnesota Power did that.
Okay. Alrighty, so you're saying this probably wouldn't really be going anywhere till probably 2023? We're
As far as,
looking,
yeah,
as far as everything?
Yeah.
Alrighty, and then you'll keep us up to date as to the progress?
yes. Yeah, we'll have to, we'll probably be involved in some of your work meetings or schedule special ones just for this project.
Okay.
As we move into more of the detail type stuff, the sewer and water really is pretty easy. It's all the other stuff that goes into a project like that.
Okay, any more questions?
We're going to act on these individually, these two work orders here. The only one I have concern on, we had talked briefly about this 40,500. You just said we're on the hook for the 61,425, but the way this is constructed here, you got 101,925.
Just so you have an idea of the overall budget.
But if we
the
approve this,
41
we're approving 101,000, that's if we sign off and there's $101,925 would be on the hook for.
But if you look at how the contract's written, the 41,000 is hourly estimate, and it's billed hourly as it's accrued.
Yeah, but if we decide not to go further than what you, not to say we're gonna do it, but I've been around enough these contracts and some school projects that I think we need to have that.
Yeah, there is we have a master service agreement with the city, and in that agreement, there is you basically give us a letter saying that you don't want to do any more, and it's done.
So at this time, really, we're accepting the streets and utilities reconstruction project at the 15,000 is all for them to start the whole
That's
process.
for this project.
Right, and then there is another one here, yeah, for the water
As I said, we're
tower.
gonna be acting on these separate.
Separate,
Okay.
yes, we will be. Any more discussion or any questions for Brian? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to accept the streets and utilities reconstruction project for them to start the process at a cost of $15,000, which Kurt has also mentioned could come out of the sewer funds that we have available. Okay.
Should we put the total price of that in too? I mean, the 61,
No, that's on the water
That's for the
tower.
separate
one.
That's the next one
Okay.
coming up. So, and would anybody like to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Alrighty, Dan, thank you. Is there a second? Second, anybody?
I'll second it.
Alrighty, Art. Any more discussion? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. All right, now we'll go into that water tower project. And at this time, you're saying it's a 61,425, is that correct on the, or what are we going to approve, that total 101,925?
I would make a motion, we only approve the 61,425.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Derwin, second by Art. Any more discussion? Again, you're saying this can come out of now the water fund? And we do have the funds there.
Yep.
Okay. Alrighty, we have a motion on the floor. Any
So
more
this-
discussion?
Before you go too fast here.
Sure.
So we're writing in 61,425. correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Alrighty, any more discussion? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Alrighty. You know, I know we kind of skipped some things here, but should we just kind of keep going?
Just a question, do you want me to revise that, or do you want to just strike that line and initial it?
I can do that,
And then
yeah.
and then
Get
you
it
can
signed.
sign it and send
Give it to
them,
you. Okay.
send them to me.
Alrighty, well, thank you.
Yeah, I look forward to working with you guys on the project. As far as the water tower goes, we'll need to get a meeting scheduled with you guys fairly quickly as far as what it's gonna look like,
Okay.
because we've got a deadline to meet for the state for the funding, so.
Alrighty. Well, Kurt, you.
I'll work with Kurt to get something set
Okay.
up, but just so you know.
Sounds
Start
good.
thinking about what you want your tower to look like.
Alrighty. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys.
Thanks, Brian.
Well, I see that, let's see here, Robert is here to present the Monaga Fire Department actuarial roll forward report. Should we have him come in? Hi.
Hello.
I guess as far as
as it goes, I was under the impression that I was just here to answer some questions you guys might have, or try to answer some questions you might have.
Oh,
It's kind of,
Well, when you give the report to your, the other firemen, when you have your fire relief meeting, what do you present at that?
typically, the fund balances, so we have two investments. We have two investments at the Minnesota State Board of Investment. That's where the bulk of our Relief Association money is. Give account balances, give year-to-date activity and performance. It basically just report on this monthly statements. And then anything else that comes up, you know, if somebody has a retirement coming up or requested funds. Like now, I just completed last week the state reports, which I believe are in the packet. Those have been submitted to the state. The state auditor's office typically comes through. Most years, there's a little bit of tweaking. They send them back for a second approval.
we didn't receive a copy of it. The only thing we had was the actuarial report, unless I missed it, but that's all I see.
I've got a bunch of,
Then it goes into the fire contract.
It's the first page
little
is
further down.
that.
Oh, sorry, here, it wasn't in my initial one, I guess, but it is here, you're right.
So annually, once the calendar flips over, usually get in contact with our accountants. That's Schlenner, Wenner and Company out of Little Falls. We moved over to them 3-ish years ago. They have a lot of fire department clients and do a lot of these. We were having it done in Park Rapids prior to that, but we ran into a lot of issues where the due date's not until March, we don't have to worry about it, there's no penalty for filing late. Well, it'll put us in a position where the city needed our reports for their audit. We're scrambling to get it done, so, and it could delay our state aid as well if it's not done on time. So as a department, we decided to move to the Schlenner, Wenner and Company. So we go through, it's not an audit, it's agreed upon procedures. It's essentially a toned down version of an audit. They look at all of our expenditures, all of our income. I essentially send them my books for the year. They go through everything, bank statements, investment statements. And then they review the state reports that you have in the packet. They also have to sign off on those and then give us what equals an audit report essentially.
So does that get then put a part of our regular audit then, I imagine?
That is where the SC report that's in there, I'm not sure if it's first or second one. I think that is, well, actually both of them probably have information that go into your audit. The SC report is a look forward to next year, so it should be labeled SC 21.
Yeah.
It takes our current active front members, well, all current members, whether they're current on a leave of absence, and calculates based on their months of service or years of service and our current benefit level to get our pension liability. And then there's also those that retired either full or partially vested, and they cannot draw that out until they hit 55 years of age. So typically what happens if, say I was vested and I retired and I got 10 years until I hit 55, I will cut a check to the fire department for my annual dues to get me there. So I don't have to remember to send in a $14 check every year, whatever that is. So between the deferred roll and the active roll, they look at current assets, current plan assets, what our current year liability is, and then a look forward on what next year's liability will look like. And then also the final page of that SC form is the MBW. It's the maximum benefit worksheet. It essentially does a look to see, okay, active members, current state aid, current city aid, and goes through, and I don't know what the background calculation is, but it tells us what is the maximum benefit that we could offer per year of service. Again, this is preliminary, but it shows that based on our current assets as they sit, we could offer $2,400 per year benefit. Currently, we're at $1,600. That doesn't change. That takes the change in the bylaws. That takes city approval. Simply because if we ever end up in a position where we're underfunded, the
picks
city
it up.
has to cover that
Right.
difference to get us up to the funded level. I'm not real well versed on exactly what the rules are when the city would have to kick in, but I do know the liability is on the city if we do end up underfunded.
Well, then it went into this actuarial, or did anybody have any questions?
I was just-
Ron?
Just gonna ask Robert, based on what I've seen here, you probably have $500,000 sitting there.
A little bit over as of now.
Okay. And is that most of your money in the stock market, or is it,
Uh,
there's probably something in here that
funds.
tells me.
We have, the bulk of it is, like I said, is at the State Board of Investment, split between two funds. We have it's called Balance Fund, and then we have, it's not quite half and half, we have a little bit less in the bond fund. So between the bonds and kind of it's a fund of various stocks that are somewhat balanced. Nothing is safe, but we try to be real conservative, and, I'm not a financial planner, I'm an accountant, but I'm not a financial planner. I have a fiduciary responsibility to the Relief Association. I'm not in a position to play with the money. Those were the funds that they were in when I got there. They've been performing well, leave them there. And then there's also a Dreyfus fund, which is another mutual fund. We do keep a little bit of cash in a CD and a money market at the bank in town here. And that's just to have readily accessible cash if ever needed it.
Someone retired, I suppose, right?
And we did actually, we took a couple of meetings with an investment firm to look to see if we could be doing better. It came with a hefty fee. I believe that with our asset size, it'd be $5,000 to $6,000 a year to have them manage it. And then we asked the question, how it be performed against the State Board of Investment, and they were well behind that. So it's like, I guess my services are pretty cheap, But like I said, I stay the course on what it's in. They seem to be performing. I think it's pretty diversified within the fund, so I'm not real concerned. It basically goes with the market. When COVID started, we lost quite a bit, and we've got all that back and more. I think we were $40,000+ we gained this year after starting the first few months, or in March, 30,000 down. So it really rebounded.
Okay, anybody have any questions? In looking at I know we used to have these reports had to be done, and we had actually the same firm, Hildy Incorporated, that did the actuarial study. According to the GASBs, I know that these new things have come up that probably, I don't know how many years ago, but when I kind of did call in on your meeting, it does show here, where that you have done real well. And so you should be commended, where that, it was just actually on like page 8, it says there the value at the beginning of the year to the value of December 31st, 2018 to 19, and how that it was a 14.1% increase. So, and I don't know if there's any other part on this GASB statement 67 and 68 you wanted to bring up, but.
Yeah, that, I believe, once I get all this approved and submitted and everything, I get the city a copy, and then I believe they work off of this to do those calculations.
Right.
And as of the end of the year, again preliminary, but it shows we're 153,000 overfunded, or surplus balance, or we will be at the end of next year And that's with only showing $5,000 in gains in our investments, which we beat that 8 times over this year, so. But probably commend Tim Peterson, I'm assuming he's the one that put him into these investments long ago, so, when he was
Okay.
treasurer, so. I just try not to do anything dumb.
Well, so we need to approve all of this tonight?
I typically, I do need the city clerk to sign off on both of these forms. So in past years, I've dropped them off and come back and pick them up, so I don't know what the council has done.
Well, it does say to accept the Fire Relief Association presentation tonight, so could I entertain a motion? I'll make a motion. Alrighty.
I'll second.
Alrighty. Any more discussion or any more questions of Robert? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you.
I did have one little other note. Typically, when our paychecks are cut, our dues are pulled from that, and then it's forwarded back to the Relief Association. I don't know if the check was, I was told you guys approve and sign, so there may be a check.
I believe there's a sign in the batch.
Okay.
There is one
I
in the batch,
just thought
okay.
I'd throw that up there. That's
Okay.
still from last year, so I just.
Okay. Oh, so it should have been done in December is what you're saying? or-
Yeah, we still got a couple sets of checks from December. that
Okay.
we so.
Alrighty.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Robert.
Thank you.
Well, I'm wondering, I didn't go through any more staff reports. Are we gonna jump back?
Sure, yeah, Drew wanted to ask that I, a brief discussion.
Yeah, I mean,
on
just kind of
Normal.
fill us in kind of where that new hire is landing as far as, what assignments you're given or now that we're not doing the Banyan conversion to ACES right now. We're trying to,
Well, primarily, this is our first week, but yeah, primarily we've had her focused on learning utility billing because that would allow them to have backup for Amanda because Candy and I do very little with the utility billing. And so that would give her the ability to take some time off, which she's really wanted to do for a long time. And then my intent was if we're going to redirect a little bit, since we haven't replaced the assistant liquor store manager, I'd like to have her go learn a little bit about doing the liquor store books so that we have a little bit of backup there. My intent being that we probably do not backfill that assistant manager title. So I haven't had a lot of time to think about it since Thursday, but those are two assignments that I've got for her.
I don't know if, so the way we're staffed now, we've got the you, we've got the deputy clerk, and we've got the administrative secretary.
Yep.
Okay. And so the duties right now are spread between your three. What you're trying to tell me that you're going to give other duties to her to take the load off of what we've got going right now?
Yep.
And that would allow for what?
Well, that would allow for catching up on, as you can see, this still didn't get out in as timely fashion as it should have. I haven't had a lot of else chance to think about it, Darren.
Okay, that's fine. It's an administrative decision.
I thought I would get some more cross-training and exposure done.
The only thing is, I guess the comment I would have is that she was hired in order to allow you to work on the ACES system, which now has been put on hold. That's, I believe, how the motion went. Is that not correct? Council members?
The temporary accounting technician, yep. And
For
job
the
description.
ACES.
Well, the job description, yeah, allowed for some other backfilling of duties in the administrative office too.
While you were doing the changeover to
Correct.
ACES. Well, I guess I would do a motion to actually, let's see, what should my motion be? I mean, I don't feel that since we're not going to the ACES system, I don't feel that we should furlough her until we get to that point of getting back to the ACES, because now we're trying to get the Banyan up and going as far as the motion went. I don't know, what does everybody else feel on the council here?
I'm wondering what else, I mean, there was a job description with a variety of duties for her.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and it included the kind of the catch-all at my direction.
Yeah.
But we've been on phone calls with Banning Tech Support and had West Central here, either or both, every day since Friday. So that is a focus, so that is taking some time. We've kind of been redirected to not mess around with A-System, get that configured, but we have been pushing hard because we've got a tight deadline to try to get some word to the council at the work session. So it's still a net benefit to this office.
That's what I'm thinking, with everything that we're looking for and wanting answers for, and it is on,
Well, I wish I had a copy of the minutes so that we could see exactly what was that motion, and I didn't bring all of my materials tonight on that.
I can get you the job description.
Well, no, I guess I would want the motion where she was approved, because my understanding it was to allow you to complete work on the ACES system.
That's
And
not
now
the
that
only
has-
reason.
Oh, well, wasn't that in the motion? I guess that's what I'm wanting to see, the motion.
I think the motion just approved the job description presented.
Well, what are, any other comments from anybody?
That's what I thought, she was supposed to be hired to help take, well, he was taking care of assist.
Well,
So that's
that
what
was
7,000
my
whatever it was, right? When we was allocated for it.
Right.
So now if he's not doing assist, so do we need her in the office?
Yeah, they do.
I'm just saying, I'm just, you know, I'm
Yeah, they
not
do.
gonna be.
That's why I guess I wanted to know what the motion stated. And I thought she was hired primarily, or, it was primarily,
Was it like 3 months or something like that, wasn't it?
yeah, to allow Kurt to work on
Up to
A
6
system.
months.
But to allow him to work on A system, we're no longer working on that from the prior motion. Well, would have been nice to have the minutes tonight. I don't know, while he's looking to pull that out, shall we move on to the next item? I don't want to be here all night. The next thing was let's see, fire contract amount. We're done with the fire association. Derwin, you're on that.
Yeah, I could probably speak to that while Kurt's gone. We did meet, the subcommittee did meet again. We did review a counter proposal from Huntersville Township. Kurt and Dave Kicker, the fire chief, put together some preliminary numbers which would be embedded in the new contract. And what they did use was a modified COP formula, which there's a little bit of a equation that you plug a bunch of numbers into, but it factors in fire calls, market value, population. And based on that, we got some rough preliminary numbers that we shared back with the townships. Now, anytime you negotiate, I mean, you engage, have an engagement and you go back and forth, so I'm guessing we'll hear back from the townships based on what we sent back to them.
Mm-hmm.
And the contract runs through the end of this year, so we do have a little window of time yet, so I don't want to belabor this thing and keep kicking the can down the road. I think we need to kind of come to a conclusion on this within the next 30 to 60 days is my thoughts.
Okay, so that was all that you really
I
need
think-
to do was an update then? There really is
There really is no action. I
No,
don't
no
think,
action.
unless Kurt had something else, but I don't think there's anything we can really act on
Just-
because he shared this information that we had put together last Thursday with, I think it was Thursday, wasn't it, Dan, or was it Tuesday last week?
When we did this?
Fire contract.
Yeah, the fire
meeting.
contract.
Friday.
Friday at 3
it's
o'clock.
Friday. Oh, yeah, okay. So what you're saying then is that that's kind of all, you're just still in the discussion
Still in
phase
the
and?
discussion stage, and I would
Sounds
call
like
it
this is
a...
just informative for us.
Sure.
Yeah,
Since I remember these numbers here,
Perfect.
though, we did ratify these here because these numbers are right actually. It's up here right now. So we got to change the percentage and stuff, so that's all been changed on the one we sent out.
I would assume, I
Oh.
would assume it
We
was.
assuming,
That is
because we
what
didn't
was-
hear and we had checked each other's numbers on it. We
Okay.
agreed upon it, or we all did, but I mean, So that way he had the correct information.
The percentage
Choose a
and the
percentage,
dollar.
the correct information, because percentages were off.
Okay,
But we, well, Kurt knows, we all gotta find out, figure it out, and so hopefully that's the way we're going over to them now.
all righty, sounds good. Well, thank you. Next we have, let's see here.
Public Works roof.
Oh, approve Public Works City Shop roof repair. Ron, did you want to speak to that since you're here?
I just had highlighted the one part that
Okay.
he sent, just for that ridge venting under the ridge cap. It's not the other amount, it's just where to fix the ridge cap right now.
All righty.
So he said, I called him, he hadn't gave me a complete number, but he said with the way the material cost is, it would probably be around 8% more onto that amount. So I haven't got a for sure complete number from him.
Okay.
So explain to me, what is this?
That was the estimate we got before to redo the whole roof and to finish the cold storage area and to have that insulated so that our equipment could be all in the warmth area instead of sitting in a cold storage part. So the grader would be actually be able to be in the warmth. We have one of the generators having to be plugged in that room, the sewer generator right now.
So is this work taking place?
This isn't. This was before amount.
So all you're looking to do is hire somebody to come in and install the ridge venting under ridge cap?
Yes.
To stop the damage to the framework underneath.
You got water infiltration going into the,
There has been for ever since they decided to fix it, but then they said they didn't. So if they didn't put that seal in there, that should have been.
who did that?
One of the other contractors before.
Oh, okay. So you're trying to get it, like Art said, tightened up so we're not having water coming in?
Right now we're actually, you can actually see they painted right after that got fixed, and now it's all peeling off. So you can see more of the damage that's going on the ceiling with the water damage. And with it leaking down in there, you can see our other room has steel on the ceiling, and you can see all the water damage going on
Oh, boy.
on that also.
Can I ask a question? Then we really don't have an exact price here, and is there any way that you could get a couple more quotes on that so that we didn't just have the one plus? You said it's going to be more, so we still have to get an actual price.
An actual
approve,
price,
right?
correct.
So you'll go ahead and do that, and maybe get a couple more bids for us to look at?
Yes.
I think that would, we should have more than just one. And plus, it's not a real total yet, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And time is of the essence if what's going on is going on.
It is. That's why I kind of approached with the amount that was just here to say, it'll be in
Approximate
that
what it would be.
area.
Okay.
So
Alrighty. Well, if you could do that, Ron, bring it to the work session, that'd be great. February 22nd, if you think you can contact a few more contractors and have them to, specify the actual on here, what it'll be. Okay? Alrighty. Well, thank you. So we'll take no action tonight on the roof, and I do realize it's very important to get this done. Alrighty, next, Kurt, did you find something on that?
I did. I've got the action memorandum and the job description on the last meeting.
It wasn't the background on the assist, isn't that what that background was that was provided to us that night?
This was what it was. The position performs skilled bookkeeping duties including accounts payable, payroll, utility billing, maintains official city documents and records, and assists in transitioning accounting software platforms.
No, I understand, this is a description that was position description or duties, I understand that was attached. But my thing was, I thought the main purpose for this was to allow you time to get the ACES system up and running, and so that we could have that running side by side with Banyan and different things like that. That was my understanding, but I don't know what the rest of the council feels, or what's your...
Well, that seems to be what my thought was too, when they hired us for 3 months to help them out to keep a system, try to get the system going. That was kind of my interpretation on this, but it is for 3 months. And as you say, more if necessary. Right.
Yep.
Robin, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the main idea was to, for the transitioning of it. However, it was brought up many times about, other office duties as well during this time, because that would allow time for, Kurt to catch up and focus and whatever. So, I don't know, I guess I'm okay with keeping it for the time being, up to the 3 months.
What do you think, Gerald?
Well, based on the February 22nd deadline to have the banding numbers validated and up to date, I can see some positives having her around until then, and then maybe revisit it again if it gets to that point. If the off steps gets to that point with that extra help, that would be great.
Okay.
And I think that's money well spent.
All right.
And then we can probably revisit it at the next meeting.
Okay. Art,
It's a good
your
idea.
opinion?
I mean,
I
those
spend a
make
little,
sense?
Very
I'm
good,
sorry.
yeah.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I spend a little bit of time down here each week trying to keep an eye on what's going on, and get a clue about what's happening. And these guys are really busy, and she was not hired just for the assist to take and give them Banyan. She was hired for a lot of other duties that are in here. They weren't named. We didn't go into a whole lot of them. If you would spend some time down here with them, you'd see how busy it is. Trying to get this stuff done and having changes all day long, the day of a meeting, it takes a lot.
Yeah, well, that's the job duties of city administrator and...
Yeah, well, they've got other duties to do, so which one do you want them to do? You've got to understand one thing, Madam Mayor, you just can't fill 24 hours in a day with their time because they're, what is it, a limited pay? We call them on the weekends, we call them at night, we call them...
You do?
No, you
Who
do.
does? I do?
Yes, you did, you called Sunday night, didn't you?
No. I
Oh,
don't
you
make any
emailed, that's
calls.
right, you emailed.
I never make any calls, and they'll see,
Well,
when they see it, they can respond on Monday.
We call these guys continuously.
Well, Art, we're getting off track here. What this was
No,
to
we're
talk
not.
about...
You asked them why she's there.
Well, the temporary
and
help.
justifying her being here, and I'm telling you, they're busy.
Okay, well, so you're saying keep the temporary help. Thank you.
And it says in the motion, or in the thing here, a minimum of 3 months.
That's what we were saying.
It
Right.
says right there. So, we're wasting our time.
I just asked because my
Can we say
understanding...
something then? He's been working with assistant, you said, for 10 months already? Am I right?
Let's not go down that avenue,
Yeah,
Dan. If
no,
you've gotten in
I
here
think
and
we're
found out
trying-
the
we're trying
information you're
to-
asking for.
We're trying to get the Banyan data up to speed, and I think, it's my opinion, I think if they need a little extra help in there so they can dedicate time to get this up, February
Oh, yeah, I agree with
February
you.
22nd is coming pretty fast.
Right, yeah, it is.
And then after that, we reach that plateau and we'll see where we're at, and then we can make an assessment, if it's still needed or not needed.
Okay. Well, alrighty, we'll move on. Next on the agenda is let's see, we are at the Region 5 grant application and resolution.
Yep, so this is the Region 5 grant that I presented at the work session. And you have two of them in front of you. And 2021-05 is a resolution of application. That's not the right one.
2020-105. Oh, yes, I do need this. This is with relation to the water tower, not Region 5. And this is a resolution authorizing us to apply to the public financing agency that Brian alluded to.
So that was approved, but not for that total amount. I guess all we approved was the 15,000 for Brian. So this is all part of the project, the rest of the story?
Well, this is for the PFA financing application that's due in March. And all this does is allow us to apply, doesn't commit us to anything. And it gives an estimate, that's Brian's estimate of $995,000 total cost. And again, we're not committed to anything. This is just a resolution to allow us to apply.
So this goes back to then.
This goes back to the water
part
tower,
of-
not 15,000,
Yeah.
it was 61,450.
And this is one piece of what Brian and I have to put together here, I think by the end of the first week in March.
Oh,
I actually apologize, it should have been right behind his presentation.
Yeah.
Didn't make any.
so now you're asking for a motion then to approve the resolution of application?
Yep.
Resolution 2021-006?
Five.
Well, there's one on 6 also, so which one is it? Is it both?
No, 6 is the,
Energy, right?
yeah,
The
and
one,
that's the Region
proper one
5.
for where we're at?
Yes.
Okay, for Region 5. All righty. All right, well, is there any more discussion on this resolution? Says here, be it resolved that the City of Monaga is hereby applying to the Minnesota Public Facilities Authority for a loan from the Clean Water Revolving Fund, Drinking Revolving Fund for improvements to its drinking water system, municipal wastewater treatment system as described in the loan app. Be it further resolved that the City of Monaga estimates the loan amount to be $995,000 or the whatever as bid cost of the project. Be it further resolved that the City of Monaga has a legal authority to apply for the loan and the financial, technical, and managerial capacity to repay the loan and ensure proper construction, operation, and maintenance of the project for its design life. Be it further resolved that the City of Monaga hereby expresses its official intent to use proceeds of this loan to reimburse construction expenditures made prior to the issuance of its general obligation bond to the Public Facilities Authority. Is there a motion to approve this resolution or adopt the resolution tonight?
Well, I think it's essential that we do adopt, just so we
I do
can
too.
keep things moving forward. I would make that motion to adopt resolution 2021-005.
Okay, second by Art. Alrighty, any more discussion? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Guess this kind of goes back to a different area. Okay, now we're on approved Region 5 grant act resolution. I know you did talk a little bit about that.
Yep, this is the one that focuses on energy and environmental projects. And I did distribute the background to it as far as the process from Region 5. What this resolution does is authorize me to sign some documents for Sourcewell and for USDA. These documents are actually kind of canned documents that Region 5 produces for all the municipalities that are participating. And again, what we're trying to leverage is the fact that Sourcewell, it's actually a USDA grant for rural development, and normally at $10,000, normally the city has to provide a match. In this case, Sourcewell has agreed to do a one-time annual match. So we're actually using those two agencies to match each other's funding source. It's kind of a neat, Region 5's sharp individuals. So that's just allowing me to be the signatory on those application documents to Sourcewell and the USDA. And this really won't start until about the third quarter of 2021. And then we'll have a community group that looks around and does an actual study looking for projects that fall under this energy and environmental category, this big umbrella. But it could be LED lighting at the beach, it could be power generator, it could be some other energy saving or conservation style projects for a total of $20,000.
Is this city infrastructure we're talking about, or is it any structures in the city, like residential or commercial?
It would have to be city.
City infrastructure.
City owned.
Yep.
So we get the benefit. The city gets the benefit of
Right. Well, and the nice thing is the community participates in this project list. I mean, it's kind of I almost look at it as a little bit like a BR&E, but only with a little different focus about beautification of the city. So.
I know it's kind of lengthy. Do you folks want me to read it? Are you going to go through it? Or what should we do here on this resolution? It sounds like we're really not having to put out any money if you said Sourcewell's going to match that $10,000 that normally the city would be
Yep.
responsible for.
Yep.
I think we should go with it.
Read it?
Yeah. No, go, no.
Well,
We
go
gotta
with
know
it.
what it says.
Oh, okay. Well, anybody then have any questions of Kurt?
So, Kurt, are you gonna help facilitate getting the community meetings put together and
Yep.
that kind of stuff?
Yep. I don't know if you guys got a chance to kind of look at it. It looks like there will be four meetings for the planning part, up to a 5-year work plan. But the planning process sounds really quite exciting, I think, in terms of putting together a community group that's interested in doing this and can get pretty creative. It's a pretty broad umbrella.
So once we sign this, we have to agree to a full 4 or 5 years, you said?
Well, it doesn't have to be. There would be a 5-year work plan if that's what it takes,
Okay.
but up to.
Alrighty, everybody get a chance to review it? It's resolution number 2021-006, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Monaga, Minnesota, approving the grant applications for energy and environment plan. And to authorize Kurt Freckwell as the official representative of the City Council to sign the necessary contracts or agreements. Any more discussion? I guess with this first year, if it's actually, Sourcewell's going to provide that $10,000. Any questions with anybody here in the council? Otherwise, we take a vote on it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion
That
carried.
doesn't need a motion?
Yeah, you should have a motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept.
Oh, didn't I do that?
That's okay.
Well, okay, so Art motion, and who's the second? Dan? All right. Okay, maybe we should vote again. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Thank you. Motion carries. Okay, next is approve the Board of Review meeting and time format. There's a letter here from Lee Brecky that Kurt attached. Maybe you want to explain a little bit about this. I I know that it sounds like Art and Robin are certified, that we had to have somebody certified to
Correct,
be a
yep.
part of the Board of Review.
Yep, so in essence, Board of Review consists of the assessor attending the meeting and any residents of the municipality of Monaga being able to question their tax statements. And the city council legally is the Board of Review and can actually take action on specific situations where they think, I don't want to say it this way, but it's getting late, where they think the assessor may have been incorrect or unfair or that kind of thing, but there's some redress coming from the council. So really, the assessor's office just wants to make sure that we've got all our posting requirements and publishing requirements ready, and that we have a quorum of this council prepared. So if there's any reason why we can't do it on April 19th, 2021 at 1 p.m., this body needs to decide that first, and then to decide what form of a meeting you'd like to have, in person, virtual, or set up by us or set up by the county assessor.
What has normally been done in the past?
Well, normally it's been in person, and
In person.
it usually is kind of more to that midday. I don't have an answer for you as to why, but even the county usually did it like that.
Okay.
We had one here last year, I think, and it didn't consist of much. Whoever was supposed to come didn't show, was one of them, and who did show, I think it was referred back to the assessor. And we had to stick around for a certain length of time so that it gave enough time for everybody to get there, but that's all that happened.
And they can show up and sign in.
Yeah, it was done here in the chambers.
And if they don't do this, the citizens, then they can't go to the county board for any kind of redress.
This
But
is their first chance.
So I think it's the same with the township.
Yeah, I was on the town board for many years, and that was the same process.
Well, could I entertain a motion to approve the Board of Review meeting and time format?
I would say in that motion, I'd like to have it held in person instead of virtual.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Alrighty, we have Derwin approving and Art seconding. Any other questions on the Board of Review meeting and time format? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, approve ATM agreement with Community First Bank.
This I didn't discuss with you at the work session because it came up in between, but apparently we've had our ATM out at the liquor store for quite some time, and in the process they've been trying to get service based on the number that's stuck on the ATM, and we're not getting a response. Talking to Renata, and Dan called me to bring this to my attention too. We have to have a security bond and insurance on that machine, and then we have to fill it and all of that, and technically pay for the maintenance if we can get anybody to come fix it. And so, given those circumstances, I reached out to Community First and asked them, do they provide one, and would they be willing to provide one? And they did say yes, they would. They provided this agreement wherein they carry the bonding and the insurance, and you see the page 3. You see the kind of the expense layout between the city and Community First. We would still service, still run the reports, pay for the power, and minor maintenance such as paper issues.
So that's basically the liquor store has to take care of that.
Right, and that is, yeah.
So they have to supply the cash too?
Revenue fund.
I thought that was supposed to be the bank's responsibility.
Well, we do that now. We still service the cash in and out, and run the reports. Nice thing is we get out of the maintenance and the insurance and the bonding cost. And we have somebody that comes and fixes it.
Well, yeah, no, that's not a problem there, but if this could be their machine, and they're gonna use their money, right, or we're using our money?
We're using, well,
You know what I'm saying, I'm just trying to make
it's
sure
it's
that.
like our petty cash, I mean, yeah, it flows through,
So Renata will be running, will actually filling the machine again then?
yeah.
I just thought that was something we were trying to get out of.
Well, I don't think that's overly burdensome if it's,
No, I'm not, it's fine, but it just, I just thought was one of the ideas we were talking about, maybe kind of eliminate our responsibility of the machine completely. Let them have the responsibility, but we gotta supply the power or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Phone
well,
line.
yeah, it would be their machine, but we would agree to, since we've got staff right there.
Well, that's fine, yeah, because otherwise that we'll try to get them, or whatever, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, my question now too, if you go back to the fees, it says bank income, $2 per transaction plus a surcharge of $3. So we're going to be paying $5 then per transaction, is that correct? On page, well, it's the
No.
back page I'm looking. What does that mean?
It's $3 total of a service charge unless they're a Community First customer, and then there is no service charge. And they retain 2, and we get income of 1 per transaction.
So what are we paying now, anything?
I think it's at $2.50, and I think we get $1.25. I think it's 50/50 with,
So now
Well,
we'll
if I
get
understood it
$1?
right, yeah, if I understood from Renata.
yeah,
So we'll now get $1
right.
and pay 3.
No,
No, the
Say
person
that
is.
again.
the person
The
has surcharge
transaction
on
fee is $3, the bank is
they
gonna
can-
take 2, and the city will get 1.
Okay.
So it's like,
Okay.
they get 66%, we get 30, why wouldn't they do 50/50?
Yeah.
I mean, I can, you guys could come back at the work session with a little sharper pencil if you want to.
I mean, did you negotiate this, or is this what they threw in front of you?
This is the
They said,
initial.
take it or leave it?
Yep, this is well, they didn't really say that. They just said, here's a proposal, and it's their standard contract. And like I said, they have some lead time of about 6 weeks to get the machine. So I wanted to get it in front of the council.
No, that's good, I'm glad
But-
you did.
Right.
How long we
But
tell
if-
them they can bring it in as long as they add it to the other one? For 250, or for 50/50?
But that isn't
The
working.
one that's not working, we actually own that one, the city owns it. Like, this can't be
Oh, it
fixed.
ain't working?
It's not working, it's been working for a month, well, since we reopened.
Yeah, right.
But the thing is, like I said, there's a number on there, they can't contact the ones machine,
Yep.
is no longer available to get a hold of them, so how do you get somebody to fix it? Unless you go to another company, but then will they come and fix that one though? That's the next question.
Well, I say Kurt goes and tries to get a 50/50 on it and bring it to the work session. Does that sound
But I mean,
reasonable?
to me, it's,
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry.
but like the cost of the, like, we're gonna be paying for the electric.
Yeah, so the old one is 50/50, so if they're gonna replace it,
That's because they don't have to, they didn't have to worry about any of the insurance or anything like that, but all we're supposed to be liable for the machine, see? And now they'd be actually liable for the machine, they'd have to repair it, if there's anything was wrong with it.
It would benefit the city to have that.
'Cause it may be valid.
If you want to, and I didn't get a number for the council on what we actually get for service fees or used to get either. I don't think it was a lot of money.
My
It's
other
good to have a cash machine on site, so people, if they need cash to keep buying beer.
Well, I thought that it kind of was explained to me that Renata said that was mostly for the pull tabs. That ATM
A lot of
normally,
people use
that's what they
hotels,
use
but
it for.
a lot of people need cash too.
They have credit cards for the other, oh yeah, but that could
Well, I
be.
mean,
And then is that not owned by the Lions, the pull tabs? So do they have people in there, or are our people, are we responsible to take care of all those pull tabs?
No.
No.
So they have somebody come in and actually, okay,
The
I guess
Lions-
I'm learning how that all works.
And I should point out that Dan did reach out to the Lions to see if they wanted an opportunity to do the ATM. And given the surety bond and the
Yeah.
insurance, that didn't sound like too appealing.
So the bank is gonna now pay for that. How much did we end up paying like say in the past? Do you have any
I don't have an
idea?
idea.
Okay.
off the top of my
So
head.
that'll be
It was-
savings.
It was not inconsequential. It was a chunk of money.
Well, yeah.
Well, maybe you could bring that to the work session too, it'd be nice to know.
Sure.
Well, the longer you don't have a
If
cash,
it's just
you know,
machine
it's
sitting
like-
down,
It might hurt
it's
to
sitting down,
sell
that's just more
some,
money you're losing, you know, for the liquor store. Well, even the lines, whatever, but still, it's money that people take out and do buy beverages or pizza, whatever, you know, stuff, so.
Well, could we approve this on the condition that he go back to the bank and see if they would go 50/50, and if
Especially if we
not?
have to do all the work to continually service it. you know.
Right.
The only thing they're actually doing to me, it looks like to me, is necessary maintenance and whatever it's at, and pay for the machine.
What?
Well, they gotta buy the new machine.
Oh, yeah, they'll buy the new machine.
But I'm saying, then the rest is just for maintenance, we take care of the rest. And that's kind of, we were trying to stay out of that, remember? But I mean, you know, it's what they propose, we'll just have to kind of decide.
Is there anybody else out there that provides this service besides
I
the
really
bank?
haven't had the chance to do any more research. I thought I had a quick solution to a quick problem or a lingering problem, and wanted to put it in front of you, but
What is?
Well, I don't think there's a whole lot of room for any more in those things. I mean, you got how much they charge it, if I use my card anywhere else, they charge me anywhere from $2.50 to
It depends
$5.
It depends on where you're at.
Where you're at,
and
yeah.
Stuff like that. Like here, I think it's like $3 or something like that, $2.75 or something like that.
I think Community First has the one out in Wolf Lake, and they're moving that one up to $3, so it's currently at $2.50. So,
Well, I don't know, what does everybody think? I know they need it, we know they need it, right?
Right.
I like the idea of the contingents on 50/50.
You never know until you ask.
no,
Yeah.
that's true.
Let's do it
So-
that way.
You want to make that motion?
I'll make it,
Art?
yeah. I'll make a motion that we go to the bank and tell them we'll take it if they'll make it 50/50 on the split.
A second.
Dan seconded? All right, any more discussion? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign, motion carried. All right, next we go, approve request for proposal. Excuse me, are these folks waiting and we didn't get to a point of what they were here for? Was it back to some of the staff reports, maybe? Oh, okay, just checking.
Just a local citizen trying to get more interested in government.
All right, thank you for coming. All right, so then we'll go on to approve request for proposal of an investment advisor for the city. I know this was discussed at the work session that Kurt would look into publishing for a
Was
proposal.
that the organizational meeting?
Or was it the organization, it could have been, I've been back, but I don't have my minutes, sorry.
I would make that motion. You're going to try to get, what, three investment firms, or three advisors?
Yep.
Advisory firms, I guess they call it.
And, yep,
Okay, Derwin, is
I'd make
there,
that motion.
okay, is there a second?
Second.
Who wants it? Karen, all right, Robin, we'll give it to you. Any more discussion? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
So will you have that at the next meeting for an action item?
yeah, I think that's reasonable, yep.
Regular meeting, are you talking?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Okay, next, we are on time clock discussion. I think, Derwin, you wanted to talk with us on that.
Just based on some conversations I've had with Kurt and some of the other employees of the city, it's my understanding that there's some employees that are using the time clock and there's some that are not. Is that correct? So my idea was to create a uniform time clock system that would be consistent so all employees would be treated equally when documenting their time on the job. And it would allow for better accountability, which would mean better oversight by the city administrator / department heads regarding regular hours and overtime. And with the new technologies that are out there, we should be able to increase efficiencies And I think it would speed up the processing of payroll, saving time and money while increasing accuracy. So I guess my motion would be, and I don't even have to be a motion yet, but I guess we could have some discussion, what your thoughts are. I know there's technology out there that you can actually use it off your cell phone, you can ping your time in, you can ping your time off for lunch, and it all feeds back into a server, which then generates a payroll report, which in turn then will allow the deputy clerk to do her thing as far as running the payroll through the system.
I
I've been in business a long time, and we've always had a time clock. It's a real efficient way of tracking everything, and everybody's, when they're on the job, they're clocked in, when they're off the job, they're clocked out.
And Liz saw the paper, the dinosaurs are pretty close to what, with our time clock. I think it's a good idea. I wanted to find something with some functionality that basically has some trouble ticketing in it, was my goal. The other question is, ASIS does have a module, but now that's kind of, we didn't purchase that module, because that would be fully integrated straight into the payroll. We looked at a couple today. I hate to give a number, because then we don't know what, we just glanced around a little bit.
We looked at a couple that had like card swipes, so each employee would be given a card. And so you'd swipe the card at the beginning of your shift and each time, so it would track your swipes in and swipes out. With that, the question is, for us in law enforcement, my guys go 10-8 when they get in their cars.
Well, you guys check on with dispatch anyhow, don't you?
Yeah.
So
So how would that work for us, one thing. The other thing then too is the systems we looked at today, you need two of them at least, or actually three, because you have the liquor store, city hall, and public works. But they're run on internet, so we'd have to either have internet out at the public works building, or they would have to come here and punch in. But then, the guys they just use the fire department thing, so for them to come here and punch in and then go back to their shop, how's that exactly
What's the fire department thing?
Oh, we use what?
The
So
security.
you're actually coming in here to punch in?
No, they punch in back there, but if we had one here, because we can't, either we have to pay for internet over there so that they could use that time clock, so it would be integrated with everyone else's, or they would have to come here to punch in.
Well, they drive right by here anyway when they go to work.
So
basically what we're doing is you have a time clock here, and you have to have one over there.
Well, I know there's a system out there that was used by, Vercon built a big building for us out at Omega last year. It was last year, and their guys came on site, and when they come on site, Nick Yellowtail showed me how it worked. All they do is, when they get on site, they hit a button, it pings their location and pings their on site working this project. If they leave the site, they just ping it at the end of the day, and it actually logs into something, because he showed me the printout of everything when he submitted a bill for hours that they were doing a job, time, and material. And he said it's really efficient. He said we can just, everything's shot back into the server, hit a couple buttons, it puts out a report, Omega billings for the week of whatever, and it identified each employee that was there and the hours they worked on site. So the technology's out there. And we're already supplying cell phones to, 7 or 8 employees?
So that's got a GPS thing there?
Yeah, it's a GPS locator on it.
Locator on it?
That's kind of nice though.
Or transponder. or whatever.
All cell phones have the GPS, so it must just integrate. You just have to allow it to show you.
So I know there's
location.
technology out there that these phones will allow you to do that. So if you come on, this for example, if one of your patrolmen go on and they attend with a 1080 or 1080, whatever you call it. When you jump in the car, they just ping it. At the end of their shift, they ping it again, and it's all fed back into a database. They get a payroll report.
So are we going to ask then our part-timers to put that on their personal phone, because our part-timers don't have?
Well, there might be some exceptions to the rule. We might have some just regular penciled-in cards, but
It would be really nice to have
all regular full-time employees.
single format,
Right.
consolidated report.
And I think the selling point is the efficiencies too. I mean, it allows our deputy clerk to be doing other tasks besides having to go through all those time cards and generate a payroll report. But I just wanted to just get a discussion on it, and I think we should move forward with, when you have new technologies that can make you more efficient, why wouldn't you do it?
Right.
Well,
Darwin, why don't you text Nick Tell and find out what that was?
I can do that.
I like that idea, I like it, that tracks the location and
Can I make a suggestion? We've got things going on with Banyan, and we stopped the assist. Has anybody given any thought that if Banyan doesn't come up, and we can't get Banyan on, and we have to go to assist for a bookkeeping system or another system, at least if we did that, all we'd have to reclaim would be 4 configuration appointments that were dropped for the month of February, and then add that module for the time card, you got it already in there. So if you wanted to table this for just a little bit, until you found out whether Banyan was gonna work or not, it might save us a little money in the long run.
well, the whole thing is, this is just a discussion. So I'd say maybe to the work session, maybe people can bring some information on it.
Okay.
Whether we act on it or we don't act on it, I guess that's February 22nd.
Well,
So I agree. We'll-
That was gonna be my motion. It could be the Banyan system, it could be the ASIS system, but if I could make a motion, Madam Mayor?
Oh, sure.
I would like to make a motion that would direct the city administrator to research costs and different time clock systems that would be tailored to fit the needs of our city, and have this information available to share with the council at the next regular scheduled council work session. Is 2 weeks enough, or should we bump it back to the regular meeting? That'd be a month out. I know you got a lot of things going over the next few weeks.
You know what, we'll know a lot more about where we're at as far as payroll systems after the 22nd too. Will you let it go a whole month?
No, I'll restate my motion then.
That's a lengthy one, you're gonna have to give.
I was gonna say-
I'll pass this on.
I know, I'm just teasing, okay. So you're
Okay,
gonna
it'll
say,
actually say available to share with the council at the next regular scheduled board meeting in April,
or council, you
or
mean?
council meeting in March, excuse me. I mean,
Okay.
we don't have to change the course right now, but it's just so we get it in the system and start working it through and see where we end up.
Okay, good.
I'll second that.
Okay, and so no, any more discussion on it? So it's Derwin and Robin. Any more discussion? Otherwise, I'll entertain, well, we'll vote on it, sorry. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you, Derwin.
You can just have it.
Okay, thanks.
Well, the next thing on the action memorandum that I had asked about hiring experts at a rate presented. At this point, I guess what I would like to inform the council that I did call the city attorney today, and what he thought would probably be a good thing, that with and in addition to the gals that we had already made a motion to assist in checking out the Banyan, the system, our financial as of February 22nd, I would entertain a motion that we also add a forensic accountant. Any other discussion on this motion?
Is this 21-040?
Yes.
So that's in addition to what we discussed?
Yes, that's already in a motion.
Okay.
And I did say other expert, and so I would say with the other expert would be a forensic accountant.
Yep, that would fall.
And
in
at
that
least
category.
look into cost on that, we're still going to have to figure that out, so. Any other discussion? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
Can we get a,
Oh, a motion?
somebody's got to make a motion.
Oh, I did. I said I was making a motion to add
Oh, you made a
forensic.
motion.
I did, sorry. And Dan seconding. Okay, thank you. Alrighty, any more discussion? Otherwise, all those in.
Who
more
decides
discussion?
who the expert is?
Well, we're going to have to, they'll have to come back. We're
She's
gonna have
just
to
adding
bring
this one to the
Previous motion.
Right, as an idea.
Okay, any more discussion? We'll have to come back with the cost and whatever. And so maybe, hopefully, if we can come up with something for the work session would be great. Any more discussion? Otherwise, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those
Aye.
opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Well, we're up to approve December 2020 payments. Did everybody get a chance to look these over? I guess some of these go back to December, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
So, this whole piece here, how far is the December? And is that checks that will be here tonight to sign
Yes,
on all of these?
yeah.
Kurt, okay. Could everybody, I don't know if you had a chance to look them over, if you have any questions? What I was just wondering on this Great Plains Fire, see, it just says repair and maintenance, so repair and maintenance for what? I guess if we could have a little more detail would be great,
Okay.
even just starting out at the beginning there. So that was repair and maintenance for fire extinguishers
Got the invoice
or...
back, yeah. I can go find we got the invoice
Wasn't
back.
that when they
check.
redid went through all the hoses and certified everything out here? And then did they go through the air packs too when they were here that time?
They have to
I
do
think I remember
they have
that
to do once a year, yep.
Dave Kirk was talking about that.
Yep. And then they
I'm not sure that's what it was, but I know
pressure
they-
test the hoses.
Is that what
Yeah,
this
that's
is?
right.
He
Yeah.
talked about it when we were,
He talked about it.
Yep.
right, when we went to have a tour of his fire department. Okay. And then a lot of these, see, I know I can't tell liquor store, I don't know all of these accounts, but I imagine Peggy's Pizza probably is a liquor store.
It is. Yeah, that one I can about
Verify?
off the top of my head, yeah.
Okay. So did anybody have any questions on any of these? Did you get a chance to go through
I
them?
think I glanced through them, I mean, there's standard bills there.
So there's nothing here that's out of the ordinary, Kurt, that you would say? Large
Actually, no, it
amount
was
or?
pretty quiet, actually.
Okay. And the grand total is,
61, 615, 42 in the first motion.
and they're all for December 2020, or aren't some of these January?
It's
or
all
they're
January,
December? Yeah, what,
These are all January.
I'm confused. What does it, can you explain it? We have two separate December 2020,
We had to run it in two
Invoices?
batches because we ran the first batch.
but it says current period January 2021. What does that mean? I see the transaction date is 1/29/21, so I guess I'm not sure.
If you look right under the broad blue band, it's payments batch, December 202.
Are we going back to the first page here?
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
That's the batch number, and it was initiated in December, that's why. So we had a few of those that have to be applied to 2020. Even though we paid them 21, they were December bills, so that's why we have that listed that way.
So the 61,000 is actual December 2020 bills, the
Yep.
61,000.
Yep.
Okay, then when we get to the 6,594, is that January? It says January 2021 for payments batch. So this motion is wrong here?
No, this batch is still initiated in December.
Oh, when it starts on page 1 of it's 41,000, oh, that's 41,000. It does say January 2021, or that's a continuum of payments, oh my
It's when they
goodness.
opened the batch, so that second little one, that was the last of our December bills, that little 6594.
Okay,
That's
So
December.
those
that
two
small
batches were initiated in December, and we got a couple more little bills coming in. And then that should let us close out December and close out 2020.
Okay, well, I see that, so I see the 61,000 at the bottom here,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But then going into the next motion, or what you've got listed here on the action memorandum 21041, it does say January 2021, and I just wanted to, and it says 2 payments in the amount of, I just want to make sure I'm understanding this. Oh, that amount is 41,000.
Well, there's another action memorandum for the 41.5 and the 44.
There is? I only have a 61 and a 65.
21042.
Oh, there's another
There's
one.
another page of them.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, so December, all right, has everybody reviewed all of these? And should I entertain a motion then to approve December 2020 payments in the amount of $61,615.42, which is noted on page 5.
I make a motion to pay the bills of $61,615.42 for the
All right.
month of December.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, any more discussion? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign, motion carried. Okay, then we go to the 6,000.
I'll make a motion to pay the $6,594.77 for December 2020.
And where is that total located here? I don't find it.
Page 1.
Page 1.
They're two-sided, Liz, these are kind of,
No, I know, I'm going two-sided.
No, this one.
Okay, why don't I have that here? The first one was 461. Do I go backwards?
This page.
Okay, well, it is backwards, because the first one is $6,594.77. So we have a motion on that? Art, did you make that?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Art, is there a second on that? They're mixed up here, so.
I'll second.
All right, thank you, Dan. Any more discussion? That was our fire extinguishers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay, then we have January. In the amount of $41,547. Did everybody get a chance to review those?
I make a motion to pay the bills for the month of January for $41,547.01.
All righty, Art makes a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Robin? Any more discussion? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay, then somehow I've lost the 44. Do we go backwards again? I don't see a 44 in here, else I just don't see it. The 44,283? Oh, so now you're looking at some
It's on
other...
page 3, and it was,
Page 3?
that's what this one shows.
I don't think I have it in mine.
You
know what, it's
probably...
Did it end up getting put into the new,
It's all on the same page.
what?
Either more towards the middle or towards the bottom.
I think it might, I wonder if it just got put into the new packet, because it's not in my packet I ran off earlier today and reviewed.
Let's see. This is just a summary of all the checks. that were written.
Right, so if we don't have the payments, you see the payments? Showing who they were paid to?
Well, it's right here, I think, everything is embedded here somehow, because it comes up with that same 44,000 too.
Okay, the thing of it is, it's the e-check and it's probably is payroll, is that correct? I guess, and
It's got all the local ones.
yeah, see, that wasn't put into our previous one, it must have been put in today.
That's employee health and telephone.
Yeah. Okay, well, does everybody get a chance, since that really wasn't a part of the one earlier, that was sent to us like at 5 o'clock is when I printed it off. What I'm thinking, Kurt, is I think you guys just added it, is that correct? Here it is, right here. I do find it from what you handed out. Okay, any questions on it, on that?
I'll make a motion, we paid bills for January 2021 for $4,283.70.
You said 44,000, correct?
$44,283.70.
I'll second that motion.
All right. Okay. Art made the motion, Derwin seconded. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Well, I think we've finished. Unless there was something, I thought maybe that, Adam, you didn't give a report at the work session. Are you going to do it at the work session on next time?
Nope, I've been waiting, I had my report here, so.
Well, I didn't understand what was happening with those because of the fact that, and then I would like to have copies, if we could all have copies of your report or any of the reports. We're asking them from all the department heads.
Well, my report, it's pretty easy. We had 107 calls for service for the month of January. I did send out a nuisance letter to a property here in town. Gave them a specified time frame to start cleaning up before we go through with the abatement process to remove junk on his property. It was a day or two after I sent that letter out, we did receive a complaint on that same property. The complainant also raised concerns about individuals running a possible commercial business on the residential property. So that's something that I'll be looking into on whether or not that property or the properties in the area are running a business without having the proper zoning and licensing. I also would like to set up a time for the council members to go through a use of force simulator, just to kind of give you guys an idea of some of the stuff that law enforcement can come across, domestics, verbal assaults, abuse, disturbances, stuff like that.
When you say simulator, you sit in front of a computer
No,
screen?
I'm gonna put you in front of a big whiteboard. I'm gonna give you a inert laser gun, and I'm gonna have you be the officer, and then you're gonna have to react to what is on the screen. I'm gonna control the outcome. If you give good verbal commands to the individual and stuff like that, I can make him give up. I will make him become more aggressive. So it kind of depends on your tone of voice and how you react to them. So I just want to kind of give you guys an opportunity to see what it is like in our shoes.
Do we need to study up on this, or?
You can study up on it if you
I just
want.
said that, because that's just a joke. I understand what you're trying to do. I'm not trying to.
We're not recording.
Yeah.
We're not recording.
We understand that you do go through a lot. We understand, and we support the police. But the thing of it is, I think I would have someone who has a little bit more, maybe, some sort of experience that maybe would do it. I would want to, I guess is what I
Maybe
was
the
going to
coach should
say.
be on my side.
Yeah.
Maybe this gentleman over here.
You guys should definitely do it. That would be so helpful, trust me. It's a great experience. It's a great idea. I really think it's a smart one.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
we'll
so-
check on it and think about it at some point.
So what are you planning on doing this? Actually sounds
Well,
kind of exciting.
I was, you guys, we could set up a night. You guys could obviously not all come at the same time. But if we set up a night.
We
you guys-
can't watch?
Well, you can't have 3 or more unless it's at a public meeting.
I
So we
know.
do it at the next committee meeting.
Well, that's what we could do, the work session.
Yeah.
How much time are we looking at?
It all depends on how many scenarios you guys want to run through and if you start having fun with it or not, so. We have to either readjust this room or find another room to set it up in because I have to put up a big screen and my projector, the computer and all that stuff, so.
Well, what is
consensus of the council here?
I think you should
Do
just
it for the
stagger,
work session?
just stagger so we can come up some evening and not have to blend it into a work session.
Yeah, then we don't have to feel like we're going to rush out of here. You can have fun with it.
What do you think about half hour per person, or?
Yeah, that would work, it's totally up to
I'd be
you
game,
guys.
I mean, you come up with a night and.
You just have to let
Or
me
you
know and
come in
I'll,
and-
Yeah, you bet. Keep the laser.
I'll take care of the cost of the guy who's gotta run it and the rental equipment himself.
Well, so he should work with Kurt then to try to set up a time? And if we're gonna go half
Well,
hour,
it
half
kinda-
hour?
it depends on-
opportunity.
It kinda really depends on your guys' schedule, not necessarily what works for Kurt.
Unless you got, just give us some days and then see if we all can blend it into our schedules. I know
Well,
we're
yeah,
all busy
if the
people.
times or dates should come from Kurt.
Well,
Really.
it's basically up to us.
Yeah, but I
No,
know.
Kurt really doesn't like
Yeah.
it.
We'll throw some proposed stuff out there, you guys can
Yeah.
either take us up on it or shoot
All
us
right.
down or.
Throw some dates and times, and then we go from there. See what
Yeah,
we
alrighty,
can do.
okay.
It'll be in the evening, so you guys all be off of work. Hopefully.
Alrighty,
Unless your boss makes you work late or something.
Yeah.
anything else for discussion? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. All
Oh, make that motion. I'll second.
right, adjourned at 8:30.
8:30, huh?
I'm sorry, we probably should talk to you after. Was it something we wanted, because you need to get put on the public agenda piece, the public communication?
Yeah, I just want to know how to talk in here, basically, that's the question.
Oh,
What do I have
because
to
see,
do?
we should have had you get put on the public
So there's a-
comments.
We have a sign-in sheet.
There's a sign-in
Usually
sheet,
out there,
sorry.
right until we start the meeting.
Okay,
And if you sign in, there, you got 5 minutes of open public forum.
Right.
okay.
Council is generally not required to respond necessarily, but that's your platform, and as long as you're.
Right.
They can't take any action on what you say, but you have the ability to voice your concerns, and then if they want to, at a later date, address it at a different meeting,
Okay.
you can do that.
Is that the only time I'm able to speak during a meeting, essentially?
Yes, unless you're asked to be put on the agenda
And-
and you fill out a form.
Yeah, you can fill out an agenda request form, and
Right.
that comes through me first, and then I coordinate that with the mayor generally to formulate the agenda. But at that time, you can also provide supporting documentation if you have any, or, and kind of give us an estimate of, how much time you need. But yeah,
And then if there's an action item on top of that too, the council can act then at that time.
Okay. How do I figure out, like, what's going to happen next meeting? Like, do I just...
Oh, there's an agenda.
we post it on the website.
Oh, all right.
City
In
Monongah.
fact, you can go look through a bunch of old ones anyway, or even the one tonight. And typically, if everything's going smoothly, we have all the supporting documentation embedded inside, so there'll be hyperlinks.
Okay.
So if you look on the website, then if you want to see the contract, that I've got a request to sign a contract, a motion for that, you can actually go read the contract for whatever it is in there too.
All right, thanks, guys, appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Otherwise,
Did
feel
you-
free to
oh.
contact me at City Hall if you got other questions or you want the 50-cent tour.
All right, appreciate it, Kurt. Yeah, good help on that.
Is there, did we vote on this? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Meeting adjourned now at 8:32. All righty, thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
You too.
Thank you.